Hi everybody, welcome to Simply Scuba. In today's video I'm going to be taking a closer look at the Mares Prestige BCD. So this is a jacket style BCD designed for female divers. The backplate is a little bit shorter, but otherwise, yeah, it's that good all-rounder. Jacket style, so you have that all-around inflation, nice tough materials. It's a little bit heavier for a compared to like a travel BCD, but I'd still be happy traveling with it. It's not a heavy BCD, but it does have some tough materials around it to protect it from the usual wear and tear. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so looking over the BCD, over your left-hand shoulder, very traditional for a BCD, you have that corrugated hose, you have a braided low pressure inflator hose that comes with the BCD. You can then fit that to your regulator. Those are both held in position by a section of Velcro over your left hand shoulder strap to hold that in place so it doesn't sort of just float off during the dive. It's always exactly where you want it to be, in front of your chest. And that leads down to Mares' Ergo Inflator. Very nice inflator, very light, quite flat against your body, and very easy to understand. You've got a big red button, that's your inflate button. Gray button on the end is your deflate, and then the gray section here is your oral inflation valve. If you grab hold of that without pushing any of the buttons and then pull down over your left hand shoulder, there's actually a metal cable on the inside of that corrugated hose. So when you pull it down over your shoulder, it actually opens up a vent over your left hand shoulder. So that's a really quick way. If you're upright, if you just pull down on your inflator, it vents out of the top. You don't have to lift your inflator up to the highest point. You can just pull it down. That's a really quick, easy way to sort of vent some gas out of your BCD. Underneath that, you have a pre-bent metal D-ring. So the bend in it just allows the bottom section to lift away from the strap, so it's easy to clip a bolt snap onto it and just sort of get hold of it. It feels like stainless steel, so very strong and reliable. Underneath that, you actually have articulated buckles. So these are quick release buckles, but they also pivot, which is quite a nice feature. So the shoulder strap is very ergonomic and it wraps around your body. Instead of sort of pulling it in an uncomfortable way, it allows it to bend and flex where it needs to, so it's comfortable when you're wearing it. And of course you can adjust it for length and undo it so you can get in and out of the BCD quickly and easily. Across your chest, you have a single pinch clip. You can adjust that on in one direction. You also have a built-in whistle, an emergency whistle just in front of you. So that's quite handy on the surface. And on the right-hand strap, in the lower corner, you have a small plastic D-ring. I used to use this a lot for my submersible pressure gauge. It just comes up and sits in front of your chest, but you can use that to clip whatever you want off sort of onto that. You also have a pull dump for your right hand shoulder dump, and underneath that the pre-bent metal D-ring. Otherwise all exactly the same on the right hand side. On the back plate is actually padded, so if you're just wearing a rash vest, you've got a bit of padding for that. It's a bit more comfortable, and a decent sized grab handle, so if you need to manhandle the BCD and the cylinder attached onto it, you've got a great big handle that attaches onto the back plate to really carry everything around really easily. Down around your waist, in front of you, you have a Velcro Cummerbund, so that just holds the whole BCD onto your waist. So when you move it, the whole thing moves with you. It's a bit more comfortable and very sort of snug. It holds you in the right position. Two-way adjustable pinch clip on the front, again just acting as a backup really. It's a bit more secure than the Velcro Cummerbund. And then onto the side pockets. So this is a jacket style BCD. As you can see, the bladder inflates around your sides, gives you a different sort of positioning in the water, and especially on the surface. A lot of divers prefer a jacket style because it kind of holds them in a sort of always upright position in the water on the surface. On the right hand side, you have a small plastic D-ring. So that's if you have a octo clip, attach it onto that and then attach your octo onto the clip. You also have a cutout underneath it that goes behind the pocket. That's for a modern way of stowing your alternate second stage, your octo. You can actually bend the hose and then push the hose into there. The second stage of the octo actually sticks proud, so it's still in that triangle and you can still grab hold of it and pull it free, but you don't need any clips. Underneath that, you have a zippered pocket. It's fully inflated at the moment, so you're not going to see its true size, but that goes for most of that entire load. So if you need a torch and SMB and stuff, you can stow it inside of that. There's a mesh section at the back, so after the dive, when you're getting out, any water that's collected in there drains out really quickly. Very protected sides as well. A lot of this detailing, it looks really cool, but it also protects that side of the BCD. So if you're swimming in confined spaces and you brush up against something, it's less likely to actually damage the BCD. You've got this sort of protective external detailing. Below that, you have the SLS, the slide lock system integrated weight pockets. So these are quite clever. They have a pretty traditional grab handle. Grab hold of it, give it a yank, and that will actually free the weight pocket, but it has a sort of an internal mechanism with this little red light, green light sort of window indicator that lets you know when the mechanism is locked in position. So when it's green, it's locked, it's safe, the pocket cannot go anywhere. It's a real strong sort of mechanical mechanism, but as soon as you sort of pull it, you pull like an internal mechanism. That green will turn red, and then you can pull the pocket free. So that's quite nice in that you can stow the pocket away and then double check to see if it's actually locked in position, because even though it might look like it's in position, you just have to push that red button to physically lock it in. Each of these on this size, it might change depending on if you go for a larger sized jacket. The smaller size, you can fit 4 kilos of lead in each pouch, so 1 on the right hand hip, 4 on the right hand hip and 4 on the left hand hip, so 8 in total. Zippered pouches as well. There's a little name window as well, so if you and someone else you're diving with has similar weight pouches but has different amounts of lead, you can actually mark whose are whose, so it's much sort of easier. Stowing them away, you've got this sort of D-ring at the front to pull against. That's really what that's there for. You can use it to clip things off at the front, but it's more so that you could grab it with one hand and sort of pull against it, because it is quite a sort of a snug mechanism to sort of get it in and out. And then down at the bottom, more towards the back, you have this plastic D-ring down towards your hip, just to clip things off onto. On the other side, similar in the pockets and the integrated weights, those are pretty much the same, zippered pockets, but on this side you have a knife grommet section. You can get to this if you undo the pocket, you can get to the underside of that, so you can mount a knife just on your sort of right hand hip. You have another plastic D-ring for your gauges, but this one has another one of these cutaway gauges, but instead of bending the hose and tucking the hose away, you can actually reach it from behind, right round underneath the trim weight pocket. So if you wanted to, and your gauges hose was long enough and your gauges were small enough, you could actually pop the gauges underneath the pocket and have it just sticking up out of there. So the hose is a bit more protected. You can pull it up so you can read it, and then push it down and it just sort of stays there on your hip out of the way, but you don't need any sort of clips or whatnot. So you can do that if you want to, but again, not really essential. You can use a traditional clip if you prefer. And again, another one of these plastic D-rings down on the hip. Turning the BCD around, on the back, so you have the nice low profile inflator hose, this elbow. A lot of these elbows from other manufacturers can be quite big and bulky, but this one's nice and sleek. Dump valve, overpressure valve on your right hand shoulder, and then you have the other end of your braided inflator hose. That's the end that attaches onto your regulator. Moving down, the back plate has a cradle section. You've got some little rubberized sort of nodules on it to just cradle your cylinder and hold it in position so it doesn't slide up or twist around. You have one strap here, the smaller one. This is more of a security strap. Just going to put that over your tank valve just to hold it in position and act as a bit of a backup for your main cam band. Very traditional plastic buckle, 2-inch webbing. Nothing overly fancy there, but it does the job. Either side of that, you have these trim weight pouches. So this is for some extra lead. You can probably fit about 2 kilos of lead in there, maybe. and they're only pinch clip sort of held in place. It helps to move some lead off of your weight belt or your integrated weights if you need a little extra. It's quite nice to have it a little bit higher up, just to adjust your sort of positioning, but these aren't dumpable. So you can fit 4 kilos in total in these. They look like you can fit a 2 kilo block inside of that, but there's no way that you could reach it during the dive to be able to dump it. Down on your right hand kidney, you have a kidney dump. So you have this pull toggle similar to the one over your right hand shoulder. Give that a tug, and if you're inverted, it's going to open up that valve and dump gas out of that. And that's the Mares Prestige BCD. Yeah, jacket style BCD, nice tough materials, a good all-rounder. So if you like jacket BCDs with a sort of a flash of color, no real colors in the white, but that just means that it can go with any other color. It's a little bit brighter than just a solid black BCD, but yeah, it ticks all of the boxes. You've got your integrated weights, you've got all the padding that you could need, a nice inflator in that, pockets, sort of, yeah, everything that you could possibly need in a BCD, and decent sort of Italian styling. There's going to be more information on our website, simplyscuba.com. So yeah, there's going to be a link down in the description below where you can check it out and buy it from us at Simply Scuba. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.